Hi everyone, this is Carmen Marshall, founder and president of LiveWell International, and I'd like to share with you today why I actually chose network marketing as an industry, but also why I chose USANA as a network marketing company I wanted to align myself with. It went back a few years, so I'm going to take you back about 11 years ago when I was 27 and I was living in Australia. I had just returned from working overseas for a year and a half, and I had really found that I was very tired of working long hours and making someone else wealthy. And I decided that I wanted to have my own business because I figured if I could take my own work ethic and put it into my own business, then I could obviously create my own prosperity rather than making someone else rich. So I started looking for businesses, and I didn't come from a rich family. I hadn't saved a lot of money by that time, at 27 years old, and there wasn't, frankly, much that I could afford. It was a little bit depressing because, in fact, the only things I could afford was number one, a dog wash, and number two, a direct sales or direct marketing company where you would send out letters, etc., etc. So nothing that stirred my soul, nothing that I really wanted to do. And fortunately, one of my friends that I had gone to college with approached me and said, "Carmen, have you ever thought about doing network marketing?" And originally, and you may be the same way too, I said, there is no way that I would ever do network marketing. And fortunately, being a very good friend, he said to me, "Well, Carmen, what do you really know about network marketing?" And I had to admit, I didn't actually know much at all. It was really just these old preconceptions I had from like an Uncle Tom being in a network marketing company that didn't work, and he had a ton of product in his garage. You know, things that we don't even actually, network marketing companies, you don't actually have stuff in your garage anymore. These were really old models of network marketing. So I said, I don't know anything, and I do trust you. I can't promise I will do this, but because I trust what you think is good, I'll look at it and see if it resonates with me. And when I sat down and really looked at what network marketing was, it really did resonate with me because I saw the whole premise was if you helped other people be successful, that's what made you successful. And I thought, what a different idea and way of building a business than in the corporate world, because usually you're so focused on yourself rather than helping other people. So long story short, I got started with this particular company in Australia, built it up for 3 years, became the top income earner for 6 months with that particular company, and absolutely loved the model. And obviously to do that, to become the top income earner, I had to help a lot of other people make really good money as well. So very convinced of the model. Now, an interesting thing happened. When I became the top income earner, they flew the owners in from America. I had never met them. I was living in Australia and building there. And when I met them, they also told me that they were going to change the product to make more money. And at that time, I had to make a decision, a really tough decision, because I loved my business, but I so believed in the product as it was, and I didn't want it to be washed down. Because if you really believe in what you're doing, then of course you can be very effective in what you're doing. So I said, you know what? I can no longer support it and believe in changing the product, which I feel is the most important thing in a company. So I made a tough decision. I sold my business because a network marketing business is a huge asset, so you can sell it. I then moved back to the States, and I looked for a year and a half at 73 different companies because I said, I know there has to be a good network marketing company out there. I love the premise, and I now know what to look for. When you do your first network marketing company, it's similar to having your first job out of college. You don't really know what to look for. After 3 years of doing it, I know what I wanted, I know what I didn't want. And there's 5 things, and this is how I evaluated the 73 companies and how I chose USANA. Number 1 was product. I wanted to make sure it was the most phenomenal product because that really is what drives the business. And I wanted it to be a product that there was a huge need for and one that I would take and entirely believe in. And I often tell people, look at the product first, don't even look at the compensation plan. If the product is what you really believe in, is phenomenal, then everything else will follow. Now, there are other important things, of course, though. Then secondly is the company. I wanted an ethical, congruent company with fabulous corporate management. I wanted it to be publicly traded, and I actually went to meet the founder. I went to actually meet the corporate office and really did my research so I can save you a lot of time, because I wanted to make sure whatever company I chose this time, I was going to stay with. So USANA, of course, won hands down in that number 2 aspect that I was looking for as well. Number 3, compensation plan. I wanted to make sure that the compensation plan was good for the average person and lucrative for the high achiever that wanted to go out and create immense wealth. And the reason why you need both, Honestly, 80% of our team will be average people like you and I that just want to be able to start a business, get their products paid for, make a little bit of extra. Maybe it's $100 per week, $200, $400, $800, whatever it is. But it needs to be a compensation plan that will work for that little old lady next door that you bring into the business so she can be successful. But it also needs to work for the high achiever that wants to make a huge income. So I wanted a compensation plan that had both and that was also very team orientated. Then fourthly, I wanted it to be in an industry that had a huge market, and of course we're in the health and wellness industry, so not only do we have a huge niche market that people are looking for today because health is of such concern and they want balance, they want science, not just hype, but I also wanted it to be an industry that I would feel really good in doing what I was doing so that it could also nourish my soul, it could be something I really believed in. And then fifthly, I wanted to make sure that the training and the sales tools and everything that came from the company was fabulous because, of course, that also gives an impression to people as well. So looking at all those things, again, I mentioned I looked for a year and a half at 73 companies, really did my due diligence, and then of course USANA won hands down. And I've been doing USANA as a business since 2003, January of 2003, and of course now it's 2010. And I can say now, after working with the company for 7 years, I've looked a lot of chances to look behind the curtain, and it's as good, if not better, than I even imagined when I first started. So I'm so glad that I chose USANA, both from product, a business standpoint, relationships. We tend to attract extremely ethical, passionate people who really want to help others, and so just a really good group of people to work with. And I hope that this gives you some insight into USANA, into the network marketing industry, and I hope that we can work with you both in USANA and our Live Well training systems. Now, where I've stepped in with my training programs, so the Live Well Training Center, the Live Well memberships, the live training, the back office, is to fill a niche of how to build a network marketing business more on the wellness side. So really linking wellness education with strong business. So it's as equal with the health and the prosperity. And that's what I really teach people to do. And that's how I've built my USANA business and how I'm continuing to build my USANA as I continue to build worldwide as well. So I look forward to working with you, also meeting you as well, and just thank you for spending some time with us on this presentation.